Hi witches, welcome back to my channel. And oh my gosh, the weather is heating up, so I thought before the summer solstice we should talk about summer magic so we can kind of have an idea of what we can do this summer, right? So I know it's very hot outside already. I say as I'm wearing a sweater, it's like 55 degrees this morning, but I digress. The first thing that I always think about, and the first thing that we're going to talk about when I think about summertime, is of course going to the beach. Now, I am not a sand witch. No, I don't really go to the beach a whole lot. Like, it's not really my vibe, but I have a friend who is like a sea witch. Like, that is her thing. Like, she lives by the ocean. Oh my gosh, I love the vibes there. Super cool, but like, just, I don't know. I feel like I belong in the mountains. But anyways, the ocean is amazing for magic, right? Salt water is so healing. There are so many deities that are associated with the ocean. Aphrodite, Poseidon, you have Njord, from Norse mythology, maybe, yes, and so on and so forth, of course. But there are a lot of different myths and mythologies surrounding the ocean, or even different bodies of water, lakes, or lochs. Who hasn't heard of the Loch Ness Monster, right? Are all really interesting things to be learning about, even if you can't go out and do like oceanic magic or water magic right now. If you're someone who's in the broom closet, maybe learning about the legends surrounding, the Lady of the Lake or something like that. So I personally, again, love using salt water in general in healing. I don't really live by an ocean, like it's like pretty far away. But whenever I do go, I get like a glass bottle and I take some ocean water home with me to use in healing magic as part of kind of a overall healing spell, or to add to a ritual bath. Now, water also in general has movement and energy, just as fire does. So I encourage you to allow it to cleanse your mind, your body, and your soul. One of the things that I used to really love doing as a kid was just wading out in a creek. Like, we had a tiny series of creeks behind my house, I guess. Like, I live kind of on in a swamp, and there were wetlands. It's kind of hard to explain, but anyways, we would go what we called creeking, where we would just pull our pants up to our knees and wade through the creek and walk until it got too deep for us to walk, basically. And it was really, really fun. We would catch frogs and tadpoles, and that is just again, when I think of summertime, those are kind of some of the things that I think of, and it's cool that water is associated with it. So I encourage you to really connect, even though we talk a lot about fire and fire magic and energy like that around the summertime. I encourage you to connect with that element of water as well, to kind of find that balance there, right? Next, I do want to talk about, of course, solar magic. Now, scientifically, we know that vitamin D comes from the sun. I guess I went to art school, so I'm sure all of the scientists in my audience are stop talking. But it's important to our survival, right? We literally have to go recharge ourselves sometimes. And if you're yours truly, sometimes you have to take prescription strength vitamin D. It is, I would really fit in. I feel like you could swap me out with a dying Victorian orphan and no one would notice. But anyways, I digress. Using the sun to empower your workings, charging them with positivity, or adding a spark of creative fire is fantastic to do during the summertime. It's when the sun's out the most, right? We're about to have the longest day of the year. I'm so excited, or at least in the northern hemisphere, I should say. But I encourage you again, just to connect with the sun. If you are like me and you're kind of a creature of the night, connecting with maybe the symbol of the sun or solar deities, right? Looking at the sun through tarot, the guise of tarot, through its representations of positivity, happiness, joy, things like that. So there's a lot to do with the sun. I feel as a lunar witch, I definitely focus more on the moon, but the sun is absolutely just as important and just as useful in spellcraft as well. So yeah. Next, let's talk about creative magic. Now, something that I feel like is not talked about a whole lot, but I I don't know. I feel like I have seen it more and more, but like, creative magic. Like I stitch things together with intention, and I create things with intention, right? So now is a great time to be working on those larger creative pursuits in general. How can you take your practice and interweave it with your, creative hobbies? If you want, you don't have to, it's just an option, right? While we may be inside like crafting during the darker months, now is the time to be like expansive, right? Tending our gardens and feeling the rhythm of the planet, doing things outside, maybe tackling larger projects like, painting or revamping a room in your house, right? Something that you've been putting off that you really just want to tackle now. Using the summer to create abundance, use the summertime to create in abundance, and in the fall, you will reap the rewards of your labor, right? Now, going along with creative magic, we also have to talk about fertility magic. Now, lots of fertility rites are done around Beltane. So if you guys want to learn about that, well, like not a whole lot about that, but you want to learn about the holiday, I have a video on that. Lots of fertility rites are done around then, or around like the beginning of summertime, when we begin to welcome the season into the world, or we're like, it's springtime, but it's getting warm. I feel that energy of summer coming into the planet. Yes. Right? And it's a really great time. People are just kind of excited and getting busy. Though it might be a bit hot outside, right? It's a great time to practice fertility magic or abundance magic if pregnancy isn't your goal, right? As always, this practice should be done or undertaken between two consenting partners who are over the age of 18 and whose goal is to bring life into this world. But there are definitely some things you can do surrounding the full moon. But as always with fertility magic, cast responsibly, please. So next I want to touch on expansion, right? Does anyone feel just like more energetic these days with the sun being out longer? Like I certainly do. Like I'm staying up later, doing more, and now is really like, again, the time to be focusing on fulfilling those intentions that we set during inbox. So think about where you were at the beginning of the year. Like let's think back 6 months, like to around February 1st, right? I encourage you to expand upon those ideas and really just figure out what spell work would help you manifest those intentions right now. If you need suggestions, feel free to comment down below, but I really encourage you to like just put some thought into it, right? What do you need in order to be as like radiant as expansive as possible as we have the hot girl summer of our dreams? Finally, at the tail end of everything, I do want to touch on the Fae, because I occasionally mention them. I don't work super closely with them at this time, but around Beltane, we spoke about the Fae and how they are more prominent and out in the world, how the veil is thin kind of between our world and theirs, right? The summer is a great time to connect with their energies and create a loving and respectful relationship with our fairy friends. Though, as always, tread carefully. I encourage you to maybe leave offerings, things that are natural, things that are not made of iron, maybe milk or like strawberries or berries, things like that. All would be great things, but as always, tread respectfully and carefully when dealing with the Fae. So anyways, that is my little spiel on summer magic. I hope you guys, I know like school is getting out and all of that, so for everyone who is finishing up their finals, who is graduating college, or I guess high school, I don't know, hopefully I feel like, I don't want to be like influencing the youth. But anyways, I hope you guys all are having a fabulous time. Have a fabulous summer, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.